I know it's hard to believe, but I think our collective favorite video of the month may have just gotten 100 times better. Hi guys! Can you believe we are doing our December Spin Wheel TBR? December. That's nuts. Crazy. This year has gone by literally like in the blink of an eye. It's insane. But this is my favorite video to do, and one of the reasons why this is my favorite videos that we do here on the channel is because it's constantly evolving. Constantly. I love watching other people's games, but every single time I'd watch them and I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that. The one major roadblock for me was that, as we've discussed, I need flexibility or I don't stick to stuff, right? So the one major roadblock for me on a lot of the way that people do their like TBR games, which no criticism, like if it works for you, it works for you. But the reason why a lot of them wouldn't work for me is that there wasn't enough flexibility. Like, I need my game to be like ever evolving, that I could tweak things, that I could change things, that we can make little adjustments that work and make it more entertainment for not only me, but for like all of you and for everyone. And one of my favorite things to do with our spin wheel is get in my Instagram messages, get in my Instagram comments, get in my YouTube comments, and literally like read messages from you guys telling me like, what if we did this? What if we tweaked this? What if we made the wheel do this? What if this would be something good to put on the wheel? And like talked it out together. And I love taking suggestions because I feel like it's more fun to do when it's collaborative. So with all that being said, it is another month where we have made tweaks to our favorite little wheel. And honestly, we'll probably always be making tweaks to our favorite little wheel. And that's what makes it fun. So I'm going to put up here right now the wheel that you knew from last month. Take a good look at it because you guessed it, it has changed. So I'm going to grab my iPad with my new and improved wheel on it. So once again, here we go, right here. Old wheel in all her glory. And now let's take a look at the new wheel. Yep, we've changed it again. And how good does she look? She looks so good. So let me pull it up on my end right here so we could talk out the changes together. Because once again, could I have done this before I filmed? We all know I could have. We all know I could have. Am I going to? No, of course not. That would require preparation and thinking ahead, and that's not what you come here for. So let's go ahead. Okay, so this is officially our new wheel. It looks a little different, but I can't wait to discuss the changes with you guys. So the Kindle pie slice is still there. The author first name and the author last name is still there. I love those. I thought those were really great additions to our wheel, and it allows for a ton of flexibility for me. The genre spin wheel is still there, okay? The series spin wheel is still there. That means that little pie slice means that I would have to continue on a series that I've started. The your choice and the buy one is still there. But what do you guys see that's new? The prompt spin pie slice. So basically what I wanted to do and what we kind of discussed is I like watching people's like TBR jar videos where they like pull those pieces of paper or stuff out of jars and it gives them a prompt like, oh, book with a green cover. But there was really no way for me to integrate the hundreds, literally like 500 ideas that I could come up with of what things I would put in my jar. So then I thought, well, could I just do like a separate video of picking books from a TBR jar? But I'm like, that would take me away from my TBR. That would take me away from doing a spin wheel, and I don't want to do that. So then I thought, and we kind of collaborated together and said, what if I just combined the two ideas? What if I just added this as a pie slice onto my spin wheel? And there you have the prompt slice. So you ask, what happens if we land on the prompt slice? What happens if we land on that? I'm so glad you asked. Do you want to see what happens if we land on the prompt slice? If we land on the prompt slice, we trigger the book prompts wheel. There are 500 prompts on this wheel. 500 of them. All with a varying assortment. I mean, there's so many that I can't even read, which makes it so fun. Because when you spin this, you literally have no idea what it's going to land on until it tells you, because you can't see it. So if we get on the prompt slice wheel, we have to spin our prompt wheel, which will give us a random prompt that I have to go and pick a book off my shelves with, or my Kindle with. So I am so excited. I really feel like this has melded two fantastic TBR ideas, and I can't wait. I'm like hoping and praying that we land on this wheel, because I cannot explain to you how long it took me to not only integrate 500 prompts onto this wheel, but I had so many good ideas in my messages, like ones that I've never seen before. I watched a lot of TBR videos and like did a lot of research adding prompts. There are ones here that I've never seen or heard of. So creative, so cool. So I hope we get on this one, because I'd love to see what this wheel has in store for us. So that is what our changes are. I hope you guys like them. Please tell me what you think down in the comments. I would love to hear. Also, like, add on like any additional ideas. Like, who knows what we'll do in January? Maybe it'll look different again. That is not the only reason why this month is exciting. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about why I'm like smiling from ear to ear. As you guys know, every single month I let our spin wheel choose 10 books to put on my monthly TBR. Throughout my entire like reading career, the most books I've ever read in a month was 8. And in the month of October, November, what day is it? What year is it? What month is it? In the month of November, I did not have high hopes, as I said in our last, for completing or even really making really good progress on my TBR, because for the first month of November, I was on vacation, and it was an active vacation, not a relaxing vacation. So I did not have a ton of faith in myself that I was going to have a ton of time to read. And I didn't have a ton of time to read. I completed like one half of one book in that like 10 days. So I didn't really have high hopes for the progress we were going to make on our November list, which is why it shocked me that I read all 10 books for the first time ever on our TBR. I'll give myself a round of applause, because I can't even believe that. Basically in 3 weeks, I not only read all 10 books and completed our monthly TBR, I went over it and I read more books on top of that. How crazy is that? So this is what I've decided is going to happen, considering this is like the first time I've ever been in this position. I hope it's not the last, but it is the first. This is what we're going to do. We always start out our month with 10 spins on our wheel to get our 10 books. But I read 12 books this month, including all the 10 on our TBR. So this month I'm going to start with our 10 spins. I'm going to give myself an additional spin for completing our TBR, and an additional spin for each book I finished on top of our TBR, which means I have 10 spins, 11 for finishing the TBR, and an additional 2 for the 2 books I read on top of our TBR, which means that this month we will be spinning our wheel 13 times. 13 spins. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I love it. Like I could never do a TBR. I know I've seen some people's and it works for them. This is no hate. I love it. Like, do what works for you. If you're reading, you're winning. But I've seen some videos where like some creators, if they don't finish their TBR, there's like a punishment, right? Like I could never do that. I'm not like a negative reinforcement type of gal. Like reading is what I do to like decompress, enjoy, relax. It's like my reward at the end of the day. And I would never, for me, it wouldn't work to incorporate a punishment or some sort of like negativity into my reading. So for me, I like spinning. I like adding things to my TBR. I like picking books off my bookshelf. So for me, my reward is going to be having more options on my TBR this month. And if I could finish 13 books, I mean, that's insane. I would be so proud of myself. I'm not promising it, obviously, but the point is, I'm giving myself even extra flexibility this month. That's awesome. Okay, so besides for how the wheel looks different, that's not the only change we're gonna make to our wheel this month, or to our process this month. So basically, we were in the comments chatting, and you guys brought up such a good point. The whole point of this wheel is to completely randomize my TBR every single month. And you guys brought up such an excellent point, that because my shelves are organized by genre, meaning I have a fantasy shelf, a fantasy shelf, a fantasy shelf, and then a bunch of romance shelves, and then like a thriller shelf and stuff like that. Because 85% of my shelves are sorted by genre, and because I numbered them in order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you guys brought up such an excellent point that my wheel is not actually random. That there are chunks of my wheel that are basically genre chunks. So for example, shelf 1 through 4, if I spin any of those slices, slice 1 through 4 on my wheel, that's guaranteed to be a thriller. So that 1 through 4 slice on my wheel is going to be a thriller. So because I have more fantasy shelves than others, there's a giant chunk of my wheel that's going to be fantasy. And I was like, you guys are so smart. That's so true. So basically, you can tell based on where it's spinning what genre I'm going to get based on where it lands. And I'm like, I never thought about it like that, but that's so true. So you know what we're going to do? From now on, in every single monthly video, before we spin, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to hit this randomize button. And we are going to randomize our wheel, which means that every single month, the pie slices are going to be in a different location in fully randomized parts of the wheel. So I think that is a great idea. So now, like, you might have shelf 19 next to shelf 3, and that's going to split it up. So I like that idea. And I think that that fully randomizes it. It's going to make it a little bit more exciting for you and for me. Okay, so now that we got all of that kind of housekeeping stuff out of the way, I think we are done. I think we are ready for our first spin. But like I said, the first thing we're going to do is screen record, wait the 3 seconds, and hit the randomize button. You ready for our wheel to completely change? Here we go. All right. This is the way our wheel is going to look this week or this month. Random. Good. There's going to be no fantasy genre, like chunks out of our wheel, no romance chunk. Everything is different. So without further ado, let's go ahead and spin this wheel. 1, 2, 3. Shelf 6. What is that? I think that's a fantasy shelf. Let's go find out. Okay, editing Lindsay here. As I was editing, I realized that somehow the footage of Surrey randomly selecting the book and us spinning for our next shelf was randomly corrupted. So just for this spin alone, we asked Surrey to pick a random number between 1 and 25, and she chose 2, which was Ruth Ware's 0 Days. So we are starting out strong with a thriller for the month of December. And I then pulled up my spin wheel and we got shelf number 16, which is in the other room. Okay, here we are at shelf number 16. So this is the kind of like the funky shelf that I talked about in previous months, where like in previous months, half of it was fantasy and half of it was romance. Well, when I recounted and reorganized my shelves for this month, it turns out that my fantasy actually ends here now on this shelf, and the rest of it is romance. So now on this shelf, even though it is like fantasy and romance, we actually mathematically, like proportionally, have a better chance of getting a romance. So let's see what we're going to get. Hey, Surrey. Pick a random number between 1 and 50. A random number is 45. Okay, let's see what she has in store for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So what this actually is this is the last book I own in the selection series. And as per our rule, whenever I get a book that I'm not up to in the series, I start in the first book of the series that I'm currently at. So we are going to throw the selection by Kira Cass, onto our TBR. Let's figure out what spin number 3 is. Ready? Screen record. Oh my God, it's prompt spin. I'm so excited, you guys. Do you know what this means? This means we actually get to spin our prompt wheel. Yes. Okay. This is crazy. I'm so excited. All right, let's pull it up. Here she is. Do you guys see? I don't think you guys appreciate how long this took me. Do you see how many options? All right, I can't wait anymore. Let's go ahead and spin and see what our prompt is going to be. Book featuring witches. Okay, so what that means is at the end, because this is a wild prompt, I'm going to have to go through my bookshelf and pick out a book featuring witches. That is so fun. All right, oh my God. What do you guys think about that? Do you love that prompt wheel? I love that prompt wheel. But back to our regular one, because we are going to spin 4 of 13. 1, 2, 3. Nuh-uh. Oh, yes! Yes, 2 in a row! We get to do this twice in a row. What good karma do I have? Who did I do right? All right, so back to our prompt wheel. Back to it. Screen record. Let's see what we're going to get on this one. You guys ready? I love this so much. All right, 1, 2, 3. I'm shaking. An adult sci-fi. Oh, okay. Admittedly, I am new to the sci-fi genre. I don't read too much sci-fi. So that's awesome. Okay, that's going to push me out of my comfort zone for sure. Okay. An adult sci-fi. All right, I'm going over it in my head, but we're going to pick that at the end. So, once again, let's go to our spin TBR wheel. And we are going to spin number 5. Here we go. Shelf number 2. That's a thriller shelf. Sorry, I don't know why my camera cut me off there. I'm wondering if it says my battery is full, but I recently saw Rachel Catherine read this book, and I believe she really liked it. I think, I could be mistaken, but I think this is a YA thriller. So I'm really excited to throw it on my TBR. It's kind of wild to me that we are on spin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be spin 6. And 2 out of our 3 spins that selected a specific book have been thrillers. Because I don't own too many thrillers and I don't read too many thrillers. The other ones were kind of wild. So that's kind of cool. All right, so it's so far we're pretty thriller heavy. So let's do spin number 6. Let's screen record and see what the wheel has in store for us. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Nope. That's not where I want to be. 1, 2, 3. $17. That's a romance shelf. All right, here we go. Here we are at shelf number 17. So let's go ahead. There are 51 books on this shelf. So let's see what we're going to get. Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 51. 44. All right, let's see what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. Wait till you guys see this. Number 44 was the third book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, which I have not read. So we will be throwing the first Ice Planet Barbarians onto our TBR this month. This is wild. And with that, this is turning into quite a mixed bag of a TBR. So let's see what spin number 7 has in store for us, shall we? Let's go ahead, screen record. 1, 2, 3. Number 3. That is another mystery thriller shelf. See, guys, you want to know how you guys are real geniuses? Look at what's happening now that we have randomized the wheel. We are getting shelves that normally wouldn't come up too much because this is not the proportion. We have not gotten one single fantasy, and that is the books that I primarily own. So this is how we know this is truly random. So let's go over to shelf number 3. Here is shelf number 3 in all of her glory. Like I said, another mystery thriller shelf, and it has 22 books on it. So let's ask Siri. Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 22. 20. Let's see what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Number 20 is Drowning by TJ Newman. So I have a little bit of research to do about this because I believe Drowning, I know it's her second book. Falling, this book, I believe is her first, correct? Let's look at the publication dates here. This is published in 2021, and Drowning is published in 2023. Do I need to read Falling before Drowning, or are these standalones? Let's go on to her works list and see how TJ Newman suggests that you read these. Okay. Drowning by TJ Newman. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Drowning by TJ Newman. Okay. So I am on TJ Newman's works, and she lists Drowning and Falling as standalones. So we are going to read Drowning by TJ Newman. We are officially on spin 8. So let's see what the wheel has in store. Shelf 12. That's in the other room. Another crazy angle. This one is not the most flattering, but we make it work. So shelf 12 is like overflow fantasy, and it's kind of a mixed bag of stuff. It has 29 books on it. So let's see. Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 29. 2. Again, that's our second 2. What is that? Oh. Okay, number 2 is Crush by Tracy Wolff, which is the second book in the Crave series. So we are going to throw Crave by Tracy Wolff onto our TBR. I am so excited to finally have a fantasy up there, and this is a vampire fantasy, so I mean, I love a vampire story. All right, enough of that crazy angle. All right, I believe this is spin 9. Spin 9. I hope that we start seeing some like more randoms, like maybe like an author, first name, last name, maybe a genre spin. So let's see. Spin 12 again, or shelf 12 again. I just said I'm over this angle. We're not going back to that angle, guys. Let's just find out. We said 1 through 29. Ready? Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 29. 29. That's easy enough. I'll be right back. Okay, number 29 was The Blood Trader by Lynette Noni. This is the 3rd book in the Prison Healer trilogy, which I have not started. So we are going to put The Prison Healer on our TBR list. So far we have a lot of thrillers and 2 YA fantasies. Interesting. Spin 10. I'm a little nervous about this month for some reason. I feel like it's really pushing me out of like my comfort zone, but that's okay. That's a good thing. So 1, 2, 3. Shelf 4. I think that's mystery thriller. Let's go look. It is indeed another mystery thriller shelf. I don't think I've ever had a month where I'm going to be reading this many mystery thrillers, but that's okay. As you can see here, number 4 has 26 books on it. So, hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 26. 15. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, interesting. Okay, number 15 is Killjoy. This is actually the little novella that went along with the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. This is so tiny. Okay, I actually was looking forward to that because I've read all 3 of the Good Girls Guide to Murder, and this is the last book, like little novella I have to finish out the series. So this is awesome. I'm excited about this. Okay. Back in our spot for spin 11. Let's screen record. 1, 2, 3. $14. 14's a fantasy shelf, and it's right over here. So let's take a little quick jaunt over there. Okay, so here we are. Shelf number 14 is a primarily fantasy special edition shelf. So let's see what it has in store for us. Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 36. 27. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Is that what I said? I think I said 26, right? That would be These Violent Delights. It was actually Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, but that is the second in a duology. So I have to read the first one, which is Our Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a beautiful, I believe this is a Fairy Loot edition. It is absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to read this. Okay guys, I just want to let you know, I just went back and reviewed the footage, and I know that the random number said 27. However, number 27 is Foul Lady Fortune, which is in the same world as Our Violent Delights, and I wouldn't have wanted to read this first before I read that. So realistically, I would have chosen Our Violent Delights anyways, so we're going to keep it the way that it currently is. Next spin, we're almost done. That's so sad. I get so sad. But next spin. Here we go. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. 15. 15. Okay. Okay. Shelf number 15. This could get really exciting because shelf number 15 has all of my Brandon Sanderson, all of my Red Rising series, all of my Jade City. Oh, this could be really good. Okay. It has 48 books on it. Hey, Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 48. 46. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So number 46 is the 7th book in the Lies We Steal, which is what, the Hollow Boys, I think, in the Hollow Boys series, which means we are going, oh boy, to throw, oh boy. One of these days I'm going to stop packing these books in here like this. We are going to throw The Lies We Steal, which is book number 1 by Monty J and the Hollow Boys series, onto our TBR. And just like that, we are on our last spin. It makes me so sad. But that's okay. We had 13 and we still have to pick our wilds. So let's go ahead and see what the last spin has for us. Screen record. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. It's so nice to me. That's a romance shelf. Oh, okay. Let's go find out what shelf number 19 wants us to read. Here is shelf number 19. We've been at this shelf before. This has all of my Lauren Asher, my Elena Armas, my Jessa Hastings, my Elsie Silver, a bunch of my Colleen Hoovers, my Allie Hazelwood. So this is like my book talk romance shelf. So it has 40 books on it. Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 40. 26. I feel like it selected a lot of 26s. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. 26 is Hopeless by Elsie Silver, which is the 5th book in the Chestnut Spring series. So we are going to throw Flawless, which is book number 1 in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, onto our TBR. Another month, we are done spinning. However, I'm taking a look at like our stack, and this is an interesting stack this month. I'm not mad at it, but once again, this is so cool because it puts books on my TBR that I probably wouldn't have prioritized, but we still have our wilds to pick. So we have to pick a book featuring witches and an adult sci-fi. So let's do adult sci-fi first. Okay, so for our adult sci-fi, that was actually surprisingly harder than I thought it was going to be. I went through every single book on my shelf. I went through every single book on my Kindle, and I came up with 3 options. So the first one we'll start out with is the obvious, Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This has recently become really, really popular on BookTube, Bookstagram, Book Talk, all that stuff. So from my understanding of this book, it's about like a caste system, like the elites and then the lower humans that are working to make Mars inhabitable for humans, I think. I think there's like the Reds are the least valuable, and they're like basically the ones who are like doing the grunt work of getting Mars ready to be inhabitable. It says, his wife taken, his people enslaved, driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. For the first time, Red will rise. So yeah, I think that Darrow is a Red, and he's being forced to work against his will to make Mars inhabitable for humans to go live on, but then I guess he gets fed up or figures out that he's been lied to and he's going to put together a group of Reds that are going to rise up. So, Red Rising. The only thing that's a little intimidating about this book is I've heard that it's a little difficult to understand. I've heard you've got to like trudge through it. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna lie, I am scared of this book. I am intimidated. I would love to see what all the hype is about. I would love to read it. But I'm also like, what if I'm too stupid to understand it? So that's an option. Definitely a sci-fi adult. The other one that I grabbed off my shelf, this was kind of like a wild card. So this is The Mountain and the Sea by Ray Naylor. And full disclosure, I only grabbed this book because at one point in time, this was on the buy one, get one 50 table at Barnes & Noble. And I had one buy one, get one 50 and I didn't have another one. So this was like my 50% off book. This is a really pretty Barnes & Noble edition that has the sprayed edges too though. So this is I think this is about, from what I remember, like a group of scientists studying octopus somewhere. I don't know, but it was a finalist for the Nebula Award and the Los Angeles Times Ray Bradbury Prize, which Ray Bradbury is a very famous science fiction writer. So it definitely falls within our category. And it says, the transnational tech corporation Dianima has sealed off the remote Kondau archipelago, where a species of octopus has been discovered that may have developed its own language and culture. The marine biologist Dr. Ha Wen, who has spent her life researching cephalopod intelligence, will do anything for the chance to study them. She travels to the islands to join Dianima's team, a battle-scarred security agent and the world's first and possibly last android. The octopuses hold the key to unprecedented breakthroughs in extra-human intelligence. As Dr. Nguyen struggles to communicate with a newly discovered species, forces larger than Dianima's close in to seize the octopuses for themselves. But no one has yet asked the octopuses what they think or what they might do about it. That actually sounds pretty good. This is a little thick though, but it sounds really, really good. So there's an option. And then our third option actually kind of surprised me, but I want to go ahead and preface this by saying that I am categorizing these genres based on what the author themselves categorizes their works as. Like, if an author says something is romance, who am I to argue? If an author says something that is fantasy, it's their work. Who am I to argue? And Stacey McEwen has officially said that Ledge is a science fiction fantasy. So if the author, Stacey McEwen, says that this is partially science fiction, who am I to argue? So to me, it counts. So this says, this is the Galatian Trilogy, Book 1. And it says, in a place known as the Ledge, a civilization is trapped by a vast chasm and sheer mountain face. Rations are small, living is tough, and there is no escape without befalling a deathly drop. What's more, every season, the people must present themselves as a sacrifice to the Galatians, mysterious and vicious winged creatures who reside beyond the Ledge. Dawson has so far avoided the annual culling, but her luck has run out. She is ripped from her icy home with no idea what will happen to her, enslaved, murdered, worse. Fortunately, a half-Glacian called Ryan, offers to help them both escape, but how could she trust one of the very creatures that plagued her life? Dawson is a survivor and she is not afraid to cut anyone down to live. So, if I'm looking at these three, okay, I'm like doing a process of elimination here. Full disclosure, I would probably go Ledge, but I think I'm cheating. Because this doesn't feel like, I know that Stacey McEwen says this is science fiction, but this feels a lot more fantasy, like even maybe like a little bit of fanro, like a little fantasy romance to me. So while I respectfully, I'm not going to take this away from Stacey McEwen respectfully, to me, this is a fantasy romance more than a science fiction, and I would feel like I was cheating. So I think I'm going to eliminate Ledge. That leaves us with Mountain and the Sea and Red Rising. I'm too scared. I can't. I'm gonna go with Mountain in the Sea. I'm too scared of Red Rising. I don't know what it is. I have like a mental block. Like I just can't start this book. I'm gonna go with The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor as our science fiction adult pick. So now I have to go and find our book featuring witches. This is going to be a lot more complicated because I have a lot more options, like this like witch paranormal fantasy type of vibe, like even some romances featuring witches. I have a lot more options for this. So let me narrow it down from my bookcase and my Kindle and get right back to you. A century and a half later, we are back because, as I suspected, I have a lot more books that have characters based on witches and witchcraft. So let's talk about the couple that I pulled really fast. The first book I pulled was Payback's a Witch. Self-explanatory. This is about Emmy Harlow is a witch, but not a very powerful one, in part because she hasn't been home to the magical town of Thistle Grove in years. But now the witch is back and ready for revenge with a little help from her friends in this fresh, sizzling rom-com. Okay? The next book I have is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This is about, it says, bound as one to love, honor, or burn, a witch and a witch hunter thrust into holy matrimony. There was only one way such a story could end, a stake and a match. So a witch has to marry her witch hunter. Then we have an oldie but a goodie, A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I know that this is an old series, but it has a huge cult following. I believe, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't, this is about a woman who is, I think she's a witch and she works in a library. It says, deep in the heart of Oxford's Bodleian Library, Diana Bishop, a young scholar and the descendant of witches, unearths an enchanted alchemical manuscript. Wanting nothing to do with sorcery, she banishes the book to the stacks, but her discovery has set a fantastical underworld stirring, and soon a horde of demons, witches, and other creatures descends upon the library. Okay. Then I have two from the same author because I think this is like her preferred genre. I have Wild as the Witch and Bring Me Your Midnight by Rachel Griffin. So Wild as the Witch says, she should have been the one to burn. What is the one thing Pike Alder would hate more than anything else in the world? The answer slams into my mind instantly. A spell so cruel it can only be called a curse. A curse to turn him into a witch, to make him become the thing she hates. Then Bring Me Your Midnight. This is a beautiful edition, by the way. Very pretty. I think this is about a group of witches that is forced to like cast some of their magic into the ocean. What is it, like every year or something like that? And it's just like a romance with another guy in her coven or something like that. I don't know. Then the next one is The Witch Collector by Teresa Weeks. Now, I've heard really great things about this series, and this is a very strong contender. So it says, every harvest moon, the witch collector rides into our valley and leads one of us to the home of the immortal Frost King to remain forever. Today is that day, collecting day, but he will not come for me. I, Raina Bloodgood, have lived in this village for 24 years, and for all that time he has passed me by. His mistake. Raina Bloodgood has one desire, kill the Frost King and the witch collector who stole her sister. So I guess a witch collector comes to collect witches? But then I went through my Kindle, and I have 3 books on my Kindle that could fit this prompt as well. So the first one is about the greatest witch of her time at Hogwarts, Miss Hermione Granger. I'm thinking that Manacled fits our script. So basically, if you haven't heard of Manacled by Yu Sen Lin, I think is the name. Sen Lin Yu? I think it's Sen Lin Yu. This is a Dramione, a Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger fanfic that suggests that in an alternate story or an alternate universe of Harry Potter, Draco and Hermione fall in love. So I could go with fanfic Manacled. The other thing I could do is Spells of Iron and Bone, which is the first book in the Tarot Academy series, and I'm reading it from my computer. It says, magic is real, it's also highly illegal. Not that I'm worried about that. Sure, I heal faster than most and I've got a sixth sense for brewing tea that could fix just about any problem, but my cafe isn't exactly a hotbed of paranormal activity. At least it wasn't until some psycho attacked me and woke up the freaky forbidden magic inside, earning me a one-way ticket to jail. So this sounds like this is written kind of like Wattpad-y, so something like that. I could do that. And the last possibility is this book called Hex Education. It says, nice witches finished last. A guilt-ridden former coven is forced to tap into the magic of their past if they want to stop their lives from going up in flames again. On the outside, luxury real estate agent Sarah Nelson looks like every other mom in the suburb, but she has an edge that others don't. She's a witch, and no one knows except her estranged ex-coven and college friends Christina and Alicia. One terrible night during their freshman year, the trio accidentally burned down their dorm, and soon after they scattered. Their secret had been safe until Sarah learns they've been invited back to commemorate the anniversary of the fire. So those are my options. Let's go ahead and eliminate the ones that I'm not super into first. So right off the top, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate A Discovery of Witches and Payback's a Witch, because these two are just not grasping like my interest as much as the other ones. So I'm going to say no. I'm also going to go ahead and eliminate Bring Me Your Midnight because Wild as the Witch was published first, and I think I'd go into this before I read this. I'm also going to eliminate Hex Education on my Kindle and Spells of Iron and Bone, just because same deal as these ones. Like those are kind of like not grabbing my attention as much. So I have narrowed this down to 4. The Witch Collector, Serpent and Dove, Wild as the Witch, which I've learned is YA, or Manacled. If I'm being honest, the one that I want to read the most is Manacled. However, it is 854 pages, and considering we picked so many books this month, I don't know that I'm going to dedicate that kind of time. So I think I might push off Manacled to another month. So if we're looking at these 3, I think I'm going to throw Wild as the Witch by Rachel Griffin on the TBR for our book that is a book featuring witches. So just to recap, this is quite the stack of books. So for our first spin, we got Ruth Ware's 0 Days, a mystery thriller. Let's see. I think they call Ruth Ware, isn't she like the queen of crime? I think they call it. So nice little thriller. Second spin, we got The Selection by Kira Cass, YA, like royalty, regency romance. I think this is like The Bachelor, right? Except royalty. For our book featuring witches, we got Wild as the Witch by Rachel Griffin. For our adult sci-fi, we picked The Mountain and the Sea by Ray Naylor. Then we have another thriller, I believe this is YA, I'm not sure, but None Shall Sleep by Ellie Marney. Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, a little like alien smutty romance. I'm way more excited about this than I'm proud to say. Then we got Drowning by TJ Newman. Fun fact, she was a flight attendant and ended up writing books that all of her books so far, I believe, have dealt with emergencies and aircraft and stuff like that. Crave by Tracy Wolf. Tracy Wolf. So this cute little YA vampire high school. This is a sin. I don't know. All right, well, we'll deal with that sticker later. Then we got The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I am so excited because I've seen a lot of like the book talk and Bookstagram and BookTube girlies reading this lately. So I believe this is YA as well, but The Prison Healer. Then we got a little novella in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, Killjoy. I believe this is like Pip is invited to like a murder mystery party or something. So this actually was a really good one because I'm excited to get this off my list. Once I read this, I will officially be done with the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Then we got These Violence Delights by Chloe Gong. I've also been really wanting to read this. This is the beautiful Fairy Lou, I think it's Fairy Lou edition. The Lies We Steal by Monty J. I have heard what is it? Yeah, The Lies We Steal. I've heard really good things about the Hollow Boys series, and I do own the entire series despite never reading a single book, so I'm really excited about this. And last, but certainly not least, Flawless by Elsie Silver, our nice little cowboy romance. So that is going to be our stack for this month. How crazy. I have like a mixed bag and mixed feelings on this month. I feel like if I complete this, first of all, this will be the most books I've ever read in a month, but also I think that this will be the most like diverse, like genre-wise, that I've read. We have a good collection of like thriller, fantasy, YA, sci-fi, novella. Like this is like a good mixed bag of stuff. So I hope you guys had fun. I hope that you liked it. Please remember to like and subscribe. And if you've made it this far, comment a cowboy boot below to show that you've made it and that you are excited for me to read Flawless this month. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.